we've really come a long way to narrowing our data down, to finding that diamond in the rough, to getting our needle out of the haystack. We've gone from 5,600 records to, you know, geez, where were we at? 1445? That's pretty great. So we looked at sorting, we looked at removing duplicates, we looked at filtering, just basic filtering. We've looked at advanced filtering and putting that wild card, the little star symbol, on each side, so it'll find everything in the phrase. The next thing we want to do is really sort of just keep leveraging this find function right here, where we looked for a certain word and then did one thing or another thing based upon whether or not it finds that word. So we can really filter our data down a lot more by using that function. And we could find phrases with the words we want. And we could also find phrases with the words we don't want. So you could use this function right here as opposed to using advanced advanced filter. You could use this function right here instead of using advanced filter. And that's the way I generally do it. So I put together a series of steps here where you can see the process I went through just to refine this data even more. So if we come and we look at this first one, filtered data, or actually filtering data right here, what I did is over here to the right, I did an alternative to using the advanced filter, where I want to find rows to delete. And the words I'm going to look for are those same words that I don't want. Right? I'm going to look for those words. And the way I'm going to look for that word right there is I'm going to look in the keyword phrase right here and see if that word is in it. So I wrote this formula here. And that formula is find J1, which is that word, in cell A2, which is, our keyword phrase. So is that word free in this cell right here? And it's not, so it returns the value error. That value is not found. And you also notice I used a mixed reference here. So I always want to keep, when I move this formula over to the right and down, I always want to keep it referencing row 1. So I'm going to hold I'm going to hold the 1 constant in J1 because it always needs to stay on J1, but it can shift. It can be relative as we move from column to column, so it picks up different words. And as I move it over, I'm always holding on to A, right? So when I move this over, the reference to A always, is solid, so there's the $ around the A, but the 2, can shift. So as I bring this down, it'll keep looking to the left to the next and next and next entry. So the 2 is relative. So I'm going to hit escape. So as I copy that over, it kind of figures that out. And then I put in a long formula here. But basically this function, here's a little trick which I really like. Just go to formulas, click on a cell. Did I tell you this already? I think I might have. Click on a cell and then you click insert function and it brings up the function dialog box. So all this is the OR function, right? So the OR function is going to, find if they're all false, it's going to be false. But if one of them's true, then it'll say true. So it just looks, is this a number? And it looks at J2, nope, that's an error. Is this a number? Nope, that's an error. It looks at K2, L2. So it just checks that function for each of these cells over to the right. And when it does find a number, like right here, right, or right there, it finally will return right here. It'll return true. So I have a way to distinguish now. Do I want to delete these? Because if one of these words is found, I know it's a little bit involved. If one of these words is found in that phrase, like is word found in the first one? MS word, yep, it sure is. I want to delete that. So delete, true, true, I want to delete it. And then when I come down here for false, so I'm really going to be able to, this is the alternative way of doing it as opposed to doing the advanced filter. But when I come down here, I could see that none of them have a number. So it's going to return false, right? Since none of them have a number. So that's how I could use that one. And then I just applied that. I kept applying that. So I did it again with words I was looking for. So I wanted to find course, I wanted to find learn, I want to find class, I want to find train, I want to find tutor, I want to find how to. So take this word up here, which would be AA1, and look for it over here to the left in A2. And do you find that word? Right? And if it does, it returns a number. If not, it returns error. and then I look down here, and then we start to return numbers. When I return numbers, it'll return true, because I put in again that OR function where, is it a number? AA 1970? AA 1970 right there, is that a number? Yes, that's true. So I get a true return. If one of them returns true with OR, then it will return true. So I did that with a bunch of different criteria, and I was still getting some interesting words, so I just added on to things I wanted to get rid of over here and added a few more as I looked through the keywords and found ones that, I don't want those phrases in there. And finally, after I did all that, I got down to 405 records, deleted them all. And at that point, I was able to read through them and then just put a little mark in. If when I was reading them, I wanted to delete them, I added a little mark. Not there, but went through and did that. And after I deleted them all, I found, 213 records that would work for me. And then I ranked them all based upon how well I thought they would work. And I sorted those by rank, and then I was able to find, just the keywords I was looking for. So that's a lot about filtering data, but really useful, and I hope you found it useful too.